Thank you.
What does that mean to you to have some contract certainty beyond this season, Derek?
I think it's something we started and we're continuing on with, and I appreciate the faith of Bob and Travis and Ben as we move forward, and it's really important. I mean, there's a lot of people, which I appreciate them being in this room, and have done a lot of hard work, and we still have work to do and room to grow, but it shows that there's faith in what we're doing and how we're doing it, and I really appreciate that.
You've been at the helm for a couple seasons. You've experienced a fair amount of growing pains. How does it feel to get the reassurance that you're going to have that opportunity as this team starts to take those next steps forward?
I think we just continue to do what we're doing. We've worked really hard over 3 years, and we've made some difficult trades. We've acquired some people. We've taken our lumps. So the fact that organizationally, the commitment to how we've gone about the plan that Ben put in place 4 years ago is working, and we need to continue to focus every day to get better, and that's what we're doing. And we've seen players get better. We've seen players come through our system. We've acquired veteran players this year, but I think the most important thing is the faith in what we're doing and how we're doing it is important.
Shelton, when you were thinking about becoming a major league manager, you were bench coach with Minnesota or whatever, thinking about this role, what did you anticipate deriving a lot of satisfaction from? And then what has reality been for you as far as being in this role? What do you really enjoy doing?
There's satisfaction in a couple ways. I think there's satisfaction in the people you work with and how you go about it. The biggest thing besides winning baseball games is the satisfaction of the relationship with your players and the communication and how they feed off you. And I don't think you ever know that. You don't ever know that until you sit in this chair, because of the fact that when you're a hitting coach or you're a bench coach, or in my case, a quality control coach, which no one still knows what that means, but those are easy conversations. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned is you don't change who you are, what you believe, or how you relate. And it's funny because I've had players that I had in different roles question me on that, like, hey, you said when you were a manager you were going to do this or you were going to act this way, and being held accountable by players is really important. So I think the fact that in my mind I've not changed, and I have a really good group of staff guys around me that I think if I did, they would check me pretty hard if I did.
I know it's not necessarily a prerequisite for success, but your players genuinely like you, they really respect you. How important is that to you to have that relationship with your guys in the club?
The second thing's the most important. They're not going to always like me, and I've told them numerous times, like, if you want a straight answer, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you as black and white. The fact that they respect me and they respect our staff is the most important thing. And I think a large part of that respect goes to the guys you work with, the staff you work with, because of the fact that, number one, they can shield me from a lot of stuff. And number one, they can help me with the message with a lot of things, and that's really important. But the respect to the group is very important to me, and I've spent a lot of time talking to a lot of managers that I respect about how they go about it and what they do and what their conversations are. And the game's changed over the last 10 years in terms of how you have to relate to players, and I think that's important. But the respect factor of our players is extremely important to me, and it's important to me from the guys that have left, the guys that we've traded, the guys that we've DFA'd, the guys that are not here anymore. The fact of the relationships that I still have with them, then it makes me internalize, like, personally, maybe I am doing something right.
You've talked a lot about keeping connected with different managers throughout the system, player development people. What does this move mean, just beyond you and those guys, what does this mean for the whole chain of player development, this entire system, in terms of keeping a common, consistent message and development?
Yeah, I think that's really important, and that's a really important point. We've talked about the lifeblood of our organization is going to be our system, and I think the fact that Bob and Travis and Ben are showing that, like, okay, the guy that's sitting in this chair is, we have the faith and we're moving forward, that organizationally we know we're in a really good spot and we're continuing to build, and I think that's a really important message that will resonate organizationally.
Shelton, was there ever a time when you went through, back-to-back 100-loss seasons and all the trades and everything you endured, was there ever a time where you doubted maybe that this day would come, or did you always believe that this was part of the process and part of the plan?
No, I believe this was part of the plan. I believe this was part of the message that we've put forth, and, going through those times has made us better organizationally. It's challenging. I mean, you guys have been here throughout most of it, and I think the positivity that we've tried to portray as a staff and the consistency that we've tried to portray as a staff has been really important. But, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we're really moving in the right direction, and that's really important for me.
We talked about some of the vibes with this team early on, whether it be a home run sword, Pikachu, you had bumping music in St. Louis that you could feel outside the clubhouse. How much pride do you kind of take in being at the, we talk a lot about Carlos and Kutch and Hill, like kind of leading that. But how much pride do you take in curating that space for these guys to be comfortable and be themselves while also maintain that balance of holding them accountable to create this culture that you created?
That's 2 days in a row you've used curate. 2 days. I didn't call you on it yesterday, but 2 days in a row. So you're gonna have to use a different word from now on, okay? That's it. No more curates. Got it? I'm very proud of that. Like, to be the leader of this group, to be the leader of those guys, those men and women back there, and those 26 guys, really proud.
Shelton, is this an emotional day for you? You seem a little.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah. I don't think I realized it till now, but yeah.
Why?
Well, I walk in and they're all back there. And it's, I mean, for your family. You work your ass off to get this job. Like, yeah, it's emotional.
Are you able to put into words what the city and has meant to you in these 3+ years that you've been here?
It means the world to me. I mean, it's become like a second home. I will never use the word Yinzer because, God forbid, Donnie and Bednar would kill me. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy being in the city. I enjoy being downtown. I enjoy being part of it. I enjoy what we did today in the community. So yeah, I'm very proud to be here, and I'm very proud that I'm going to continue to be here.
Is it safe to say you and Bednar are going to share some IC lights afterwards?
I will leave the IC lights to Bednar. That's his thing. I'm not going to jump in on that.
Big question is, how is this gonna affect your lineup construction?
That's great. I'm really glad you got there before Gorman got there. Well, I think the one thing about it is you're gonna have more time to ask me about it.
There you go.
This might be.
I'll need some other questions.
This might be a better question asked tomorrow once you've had a little more time to, absorb this. But has the weight of this I know you mentioned the element of feeling the emotions, but has the entire weight of it kind of hit in? Has it all sunk in at this point?
Yeah, I think so, because of the fact that, I mean, it's not like this happened last night. I mean, this is something Ben and I have been talking about since spring training, and we've been going through it. So the fact that, I've had a ton of time to process it. Honestly, the emotionality, that word? Okay. The emotionality of it, it has to do with those people back there.
Shelton, if you were to talk to, say, a cynical fan that is wondering, hey, is what the Pirates are doing on the field right now and at large sustainable? What would you say to that fan if you had an opportunity to sit down?
We're continuing to get better. And I think that's the important thing. And I think that's the one thing I've learned about our fans in the conversations over the last 3 years is they want us to get better, and they want to see how and why we're getting better. And if you've watched us play through 20 games, we're getting better. We're doing little things. We're doing things that we didn't do last year. We're winning games that we would not have won last year. And I think that's the important thing. And I think fans are starting to embrace the fact that there is a process that has been put in place. We are sticking to the process. Sometimes they may not agree with the process because it's challenging, but the fact that we're getting better every day, I think that's something they can really stand up and hold on to.